SuperTalkTV.com. You'll see I'm not alone in the studio today, which always brings me so much joy. Joining me today is the choir director for Gem Hill and two of her wonderful choir students. And they are gearing up to head internationally to compete with their singing talent. And I'm so excited you guys are here.
Yes.
So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, Miss Pamela, let's start with you. Okay, so this is the first time Gem Hill has had the opportunity to go internationally.
Well, this is not the first time.
Okay.
They went previously with the previous choir director, Mr. James Hawkins, years ago. I've been at the school for 8 years now, and this will be my first.
That's all right, yeah.
My first trip with them going international, and I am super excited for the kids, the parents, those who will view the pictures that we'll post on our social media pages. It's just a big thing for us because it's been a long time since they've traveled internationally.
Well, and I would assume, Catia and Emmanuel, is y'all's first time traveling internationally, right?
Yeah, this will be my first time.
I was just going to say, y'all probably went around 8 years ago whenever the last sort of choir went. And so this is exciting because you've earned your way there through your talent and your performances and sort of getting that right to go. Mm-hmm. So, Miss Pamela, a lot of schools may have choirs. I don't know if all compete. So how is it set up there at Gem Hill for them to even get the opportunity to do this?
Well, they go through an audition process probably around April, May-ish. We go out and we recruit students from all across the city of Jackson to become students at Gem Hill High School for our International Baccalaureate program, which is a rigorous academic program that we have there at the school. And so many of the students are able to be bused from all over the city to come to our school for academics. But not only do we have that, but we have all kinds of extracurricular activities that the students can participate in. So choir, which is my level of expertise, I go out, I recruit the students. They come in knowing that this is a huge program that travels a lot. And we've been doing that quite extensively throughout the course of the year. And so once they do that, and then each year we take an annual trip to a choir festival somewhere. We've been traveling within the United States for the past 7 years, but this year my principal charged me with doing something international, and so we chose the Bahamas. And
why wouldn't you?
Right, exactly. So yeah, we ended up choosing it, and so our festival company set us up to go to the Bahamas to compete there. And while we're there, we're going to do a lot of singing on, we're taking a cruise, so we're going to sing on the ship a couple of times there. We're competing on the ship as well. But also, I wanted this to be an educational experience for the students. So we have a liaison who set us up with someone who's in the Bahamas. So we'll get to tour Government High School once we reach Nassau, Bahamas, and we'll get to see what their educational outlook is, possibly go in and out some of the classrooms, and as well as see what their musical style is, and we'll probably sing for them, they sing for us. And I want the kids to be submerged in a culture unlike their own. And so I wanted to make sure that we're just not going out there to compete, but they can go and say, well, I've learned this. I saw this in another school, and maybe this is something that we can probably try to incorporate here in Jackson.
Well, I think it all sounds super cool and interesting, and I'm super jelly that I never had an option like this, but they wouldn't let me inquire anyway in high school. I think, they may have put me way in the back, but no, I think it's just a once in a lifetime opportunity. So, Catia, you got the choice to choose the choir. So what was it about what was going on there at Gem Hill that you said, I want to be connected to this, and then I want to choose the choir as my, extracurricular?
Well, I've been singing since I was 2 years old, so I've always loved to sing. And when I was younger, my brother went to Gem Hill, and he was under Mr. Hawkins in the choir. And I was like, I really want to do this. I want to do this. And so my parents went to Lanier and Provine, and I said, no, I'm going to Gem Hill like my brothers. And so I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And so when I got there under Miss Moody, which another one of my brothers came up under Miss Moody before I was, and I was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And so
Emmanuel, how about you? You start singing at the age of 2 and 3, or?
I did actually. I've been singing and performing my entire life, but in smaller enclosed spaces, I guess you could say, for like maybe mini programs at school or things of that nature. And it was really crazy how I even joined the choir, because initially I came into the 10th grade in the art class. I was in the art class, but the first day of the art class, the instructor, she heard my voice and how deep it was, and she was like, "Do you sing?" I was like, "Yeah," and she was like, "Okay, go to the choir room and audition for choir like right now." And she sent me down to Miss Moody's room. I auditioned. It was an easy process, and the next day I was in the choir. And it was like that.
They call you Miss Moody, Miss Pamela. It's, I guess, the pieces of a choir are having all the different, musical talents from the highs to the lows and everything in between. And when you hear Emmanuel speak, you can now hear he's probably got that beautiful lower tone.
Yes.
Is it harder to find students, within the high school sort of age that can go those higher notes you need or the lower notes you need?
Well, more so those recruiting guys. It's very hard. And oftentimes I'm like, okay, guys, I need you to kind of pull in at least one or two guys that are your friends that you know that can sing and see if they'll be interested in joining the choir. And so we go around, like I said, and we recruit. Finding girls, that's not a hard thing to do, but guys are really hard to come by. And I always tell them, I said, if you stick with the process and you trust the process, and you're going to do great things.
You take enough pictures in the Bahamas, you won't have any problem getting the guys on board to do it next year. But Emmanuel, was it a hard sell for you, or did you just have that sort of showman, you wanted entertainer, within your heart? You just knew that it would be a good fit for you?
I did, actually. I would like to be a performing, recording artist when I am older, when I get out of college. And I would say that being in this choir under the direction of Miss Pamela Moody, she's taught me how to come out of my shell in a way, but also not only to come out of my shell, but how to reserve my voice and know that less is more in different instances as far as singing, and even on a personal level, just in life, how to be humble, how to, use my gift as a gift to others rather than just holding on to it for myself. So that's why I'm very fortunate to be in such a magnificent choir as this one.
Which it has to be the fact that you guys are getting this sort of opportunity, but also, we talk, you get a lot of, hear about team sports for our kids in high school, and I think we forget that things like choir and band and arts and all of this, it's also, it's a team sport. Like, everybody's got to, know their place, so to speak, and be able to shine or let and sort of work together to make it. Is that part of the process of, I guess, fostering a good choir too, Ms. Moody?
Every person plays a part. I always tell the students, I said, when you miss a performance, your voice, your presence is missed. That energy that you bring is missed. And so when you take away from other students, I said it all hurts.
Yeah.
Just the other day, we performed at Tougaloo College for their spring concert. Shout out to Dr. Carl Twiner. And we had a couple of students out due to illness or family issues, or just couldn't get off work. And even though we forged through the performance, that energy that's there, and I feed off their energy. I feed off the joy on their faces when I see them singing. And I always tell them, I said, if you are not enjoying what you do, the audience is not going to enjoy or receive what you're trying to give them. And it's just important, to me, that these students stay active, they stay busy. I believe an idle mind is the devil's playground, and I'm just like, as long as they're busy, there's no time to get into anything else that's going to keep them off the path that they're supposed to go.
Which is to the Bahamas. And you are counting down the day. How many days is it?
6. Oh my God. Ooh, I'm so ready.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about.
It is crazy to think about. And how long will y'all actually be there?
A week.
We'll be there for a week. And how many times do you get to sing while you're there?
Well,
because you said both.
How many every time she tells me?
I was about to say, not practice, maybe performances.
I tell them, I said, when we are out, I've made sure that branding is important. When we're out, we are such a massive group. Everyone kind of stalls and stops and is like, okay, who are you all and what are you all doing? And I said, we're choir. Can you sing something? Sure. I'm like, okay, kids, let's go. And we will just break out singing, and, no matter where we are. So I just tell them, be you ready for whatever, whenever, however, what are we going to sing? I don't know. Just whatever I'm feeling like in that moment.
Is this you guys?
Truly.
Is this you guys? Rhino's got the Jim Hill Choir taking us out of this segment. Stick with us. We've got more with their director and 2 of their singers coming up. The Weather Channel. Miss Pamela, do you know what the weather is supposed to be in the Bahamas coming up next weekend?
Warm and sunny.
Warm and sunny.
Yes.
And that is where the Jim Hill High School Choir is headed for their international singing competition.
Yes.
We've got Catia as well as Emmanuel, 2 of our singers here with us. And man, we're just celebrating the fact that you guys are going to go and represent Mississippi, but then also your hard work. So how long did Miss Pamela, did you set them up at the beginning of the choir, I guess, season that's saying that the Bahamas is an option or this international competition is before you, or is it sort of kept a surprise as the year sort of went on?
Well, no. Last year we traveled to Orlando, Florida, where we went and competed.
Still sunny.
Still sunny, but it was a little rainy this time we went.
It was.
But we went, competed, and we won the entire festival that was going on, which was completely out of shock for us to be competing against that many schools and choirs. So it was a complete honor for us to do that. And so I said, okay, well, my principal said we need to go a little further. And so I said, okay, let's go to the Bahamas. And once we came back and we relaxed into the scene, we knew probably August that we were going to go to the Bahamas. And so we set up everything and started our fundraising process to ensure that as many students who wanted to go were able to go.
Now, you've got 2 representing 2 of the students here,
Yes.
but how many total is in the Jim Hill Choir?
There are 32 students in the choir as of right now.
And how many, and is it like football? You've got some that don't always take the field, or does everybody take the field? How does
Everybody takes the field, unless, out due to sickness or something like that. But normally we travel with everybody because of these certain events that they are, are being requested for. So I just said, okay, let's just go. Everybody, we're going to load up on the bus and we're gone. So everybody gets a chance to go to every performance.
And a lot of the parents are also going to get the opportunity to come and chaperone and sort of be a part of that as well. Okay, how do you, as choir director, thinking about it in terms of sports, you put together a game plan, you think about how your team's going to practice and move forward. It's a little different because you do the same thing every time in terms of, your sets or your musics, but how do you decide at the beginning of the season or the year that this is it, this is the style, these are the songs, this is what we're going to do? This is going to be a winning, I guess, routine. Is that the right words?
Correct. What I do as an educator, I tell my students, just because I have certain degrees doesn't mean that I stop learning. So I take the time. We have summer camp the whole month of June. In the month of July, I take that time for training, where I go to various workshops throughout the state, throughout the world. It all depends on, let me go and try this workshop. Let me go and see what this person is teaching in their aspect of music education. And so I always try to make sure that I open my mind to new and different styles of music, different genres, just everything that I can possibly absorb. And then based on the students that I have previously, I tend to pick music that way, like, is this something that we can do? Is it something that I hear my students doing? And so that's how I go about basing the music that we choose based on the students that I have. And
So, Catia, how does it work? Does Miss Pamela come in and give you sheets of music? Does she play it, or to sort of introduce you to what you'll be singing the first year? How does that process work at the beginning of the choir season?
So usually she lets us listen to it, and depending on, let me say this. She already knows what she wants to pick. So she lets, she basically tries to see if we'll pick the same thing she picked. And so she listens to it, and we sit there, we listen to it. We were like, I don't know, maybe. And then we pick, okay, we put a maybe on that song. Then we go to the next song. We just continuously listen to the songs. Mind you, she already knowing what she want us to sing. So she just waiting us to say, okay, this is what we want, this is what we want. She'd be like, oh, okay.
Emmanuel, have y'all ever had to talk her in or out or around for a song?
Actually, it's on certain songs, the choir maybe wanted to sing it, and she's like, okay, I don't know about that, and then we'll just start singing it out of nowhere, and then she's like, okay, I kind of sound nice on that. And other times we'll just be listening to music in class, and there was one instance where a soloist was just humming a song. She was like, you know what, that's going on the concert now, and you're going to lead that song. And we learned the song maybe in a couple days and sung it on our concert, and it was like that.
Do y'all ever have a fear of not remembering the words?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
All of the time.
I don't know
never
why.
fails.
It's like every time I get up and sing a song, my mind goes blank. And I'm like, oh,
That would be me.
Like, there's times where we have to, like, 5 minutes before we go on stage, okay, pull up the lyrics on your phone, go over it. Like, on the bus ride, we'll sing the songs as we're going to the performance on the bus and, like, try to memorize the lyrics. Like, it's a whole process.
This may be a silly question, Miss Pamela, but are you guys a cappella, or do you have music?
We are mainly a cappella, but we do have certain songs that we do have instrumentation for. It all depends on the venue and the event. So I just talked with a constituent today who wanted to book the choir, and I said, if there's a particular theme to your event, let me know so that I can pick repertoire that will represent the theme of what your show or your event that's going on is about. And I always try to pick music in that way. So we pretty much do anything from classical music to spirituals, jazz, gospel. We pretty much do it all.
Have y'all pushed her to get a little more like in with the trending times? Like you'll throw any I guess popular music sort of in there?
Yeah, like we are in the process of learning a song by Kirk Franklin and
the Maverick City Singers.
And that's more of a generational shift, I guess you could say, for the entire choir, because we're now leaning more so into the generation of us, as kids. But at the same time, I will say that it is a different experience learning music from before your grandparents was born, and having the opportunity to sing that and not only be in that realm, but what she does as a choir director, she gives us the opportunity to be ourselves, but at the same time expose us to different type of music. Like she said, we sing classical, Latin pieces in different languages that we never heard of before. So it's an amazing experience, I would say.
Well, you talk about the spirituals, and I think most of us are connected with choirs at church. That's sort of like it. But there is something magical when you can take that sort of setup that you have already that emotional connection with, and then hear your other sort of favorite genres or songs or whatever be transformed by multiple voices versus sort of, one voice.
Right.
I mean, it's a completely different, delivery of something you may have heard 1,000 times, but when you hear a choir do it, it gives you those little chill bumps, I mean, do y'all get chill bumps singing?
All the time.
Yes.
That's when you know it. That's when you know that you have definitely done it. We have a text from our C-Spire text line, and Miss Pamela, they want to know if you've ever performed Total Praise.
As a matter of fact, we just did it yesterday.
Did you?
We just did it yesterday in conjunction with the Tougaloo College Choir and some other choirs throughout Mississippi. We came together, never practiced it.
No.
For those that don't know the song, is it a gospel?
It's a gospel song by Richard Smallwood, and Dr. Twiner was just like, can we sing a collaborative song together? I'm like, sure. And so he was like, is Total Praise okay? I said, okay, sure. But with our hectic schedule, I never had an opportunity to actually say, I'm going to sit down and teach them this song. I said, okay, you all, here's the song. And learn it. Literally learn it. And they sang it on the bus. I said, okay, sounds like about right. We'll make it work. And so they were able to get on the stage, but for them to be able to take the initiative to teach themselves the song lets me know that I've done my part with letting them understand you have to listen for your part. Be confident in what you sing. Go over your voice parts over and over again. I'm like, no matter how tired you may be, I said, you can do my homework and do everybody else's homework. You can do your chores. You can travel and listen to your music. I said, there's nothing stopping you from learning your music. So I take it as a true testament. I'm like, woo, they did exactly what I told them to do, and they were singing on the bus on the way there. We got up to do the song, and everybody was just like, oh my God, we were the loudest people up there singing. So I was like, Yeah, you all were kind of loud up there.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it was a wonderful experience yesterday. But yes, we are familiar with that song. Yes.
What's the age range of your 32 choir students, Miss Pamela?
They range from 15 to 14. I forget the freshmen. 14 to 18. Yes.
Well, that's a big gap. I mean, those developmental years.
Right.
And now you have the opportunity for the older ones to be mentoring and life skills for sort of the younger ones. How old were you, Catia, when you started the choir?
Let me see. I'm 16 now. I'm a junior. I think I was 14.
So you were 14, so you're coming up. And how about you, Emmanuel?
I want to say 15.
15? Okay, pretty cool. All right, we got a little bit more with Jim Hill's high school choir, Mississippi radio station. And Rhino, that was Total Praise, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Which you guys got the opportunity to sing yesterday. And if you're just joining us, we've got the Jim Hill High School Choir. They're headed internationally to sing, not the whole choir, but the choir director representing us, Catia, is with us, as well as Emmanuel, two of the singers there. And they're headed to the Bahamas for. So what's the name of the competition? I don't think I've even asked that yet.
It is through the World Strides Heritage Festival, so it's more of an international festival through the company that we book through, who sets up everything to make my life easier.
Yeah.
So it's basically a international choir festival that is set up through the company that's there.
Pretty cool, cool. All right, and y'all are going to come home victorious. We already know that.
That's the only option.
So how long is your set? When the choir gets up and is doing their thing, how long are they up there?
It all depends. It could range from anywhere, depending on what the adjudicators do. While we're there, they can get up and perform their pieces. The adjudicator may get up and come, and sometimes they play with the choir. And it's just the strangest thing to see them go and like, oh, can I move you over here? And they'll adjust the choir, move them around, make them say things, something a little different. But it's all in an educational experience for them to learn to cope and adjust to be under another director other than myself. And so to see them interact and be attentive, and I say, always be flexible, learn to cope and adjust with things, and just give them what they're asking for. And so that's one of the experiences I think that many of them got a chance to learn last year when traveling with me. Yes. Just go with the flow, and whatever the adjudicator is asking you to do, just do it, try it. It may be silly at the time, but I said, you're here to learn at the end of the day.
That's such good life lessons. And again, I want parents or grandparents listening to good things to remember that there's so many other avenues that kids can get involved in, team experiences, and build that sort of being able to work with others or feeling sort of that, camaraderie and learn all these life lessons. It doesn't always have to be sort of in one avenue. And sometimes, again, choir gets left out of that, and it seems like such a beautiful. You've created like a little family through all of y'all and through this whole thing. Okay, Miss Pamela, is it true everybody can learn to sing?
That is absolutely true.
I still don't believe it.
That is absolutely true, and I'm a firm believer of that. I tell students, especially in my general music classes, I said, if you can talk, you can sing. Mm-hmm. And they were like, talk? I can sing. I said, yes. I said, if you trust the process and just allow me to do what it is that I know how to do.
Exactly.
You may not like it at first. I said, but the more you practice something, it's just like riding a bicycle. You have the training wheels on there at first, and you got your parents holding the back seat, guiding you along the way, and then finally they just let go. And so just to see children fall in love with music and them coming to love what it is that I love, it brings me joy. And I always, say that, if you find something you do for a career that you love, you will never work a day in your life. Okay. And I look at it as a joyous moment to just see that light in their eyes when I'm like, you've been bit by the choir bug. I said,
when did you get bit by the choir bug, Miss Pamela?
Probably in my mother's womb. And I literally have been singing all my life. My grandmother told me that I was too small to be seen in church, so they would stand me on top of the offering table in my little poofy dresses and fluffy socks, and I would sing. And I don't remember it, but that's what my grandmother. I'm like, okay, grandmama, if you say that's what I was doing, so be it. But I've been singing probably same with the children. I'm like, when you have parents who see that gift within the child and you have that gift nurtured, it means a lot. And I'm grateful for the parents that I have who are using the gift that their children have, and they're nurturing it, they're investing in it. And I tell parents, I said, it's a sacrifice today. I said, but when they get through this process and they're getting ready to go to college, they see the benefits of their sacrifice, and the scholarship opportunities that are afforded to these children because of their gifts and their talent, their willingness to cope and adjust and learn from somebody new. That makes my heart happy.
Well, too, and with public speaking, I know that's like a singular thing. Being the only person is one of people's greatest fears. I'd have to feel like being part of a choir, a successful one, would give you a boost of confidence of just being able to stand tall, using your voice, or not feeling like you can't get in front of others and or just be out in front of folks,
right,
in some capacity, because it takes a lot of confidence, Emmanuel, to get up there, Catia, to get up there and even though you're with a group, you're still, singing's a vulnerable thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yesterday, Catia said something about another singer. She said, and it stuck with me. She said it's not just music, it's ministry.
Yeah.
And even though we may be getting all this recognition and it may be, give us confidence, in all honesty, it's like we're being put in a spotlight in a sense. So it's like all eyes are on us at all times. So it's like we're at an all-time high, but at the same time we have to be cautious of every action that we make.
Well, that's all the time right now, boys and girls, with your phones and everything else.
Right, exactly.
Pamela, you definitely are teaching them something good, good in that way. But I think you said you're 16 now, Catia. How old are you? 16. Okay, so y'all got like a few more years of high school. Obviously you're going to continue with the choir up until graduation. I'm sure Miss Pamela's not going to let you get away this quick. No. But what's like looking for the future for Catia? What's our plans?
So in the future, I always tell everyone I want to be an international gospel recording artist. So that's what I want to do. And so with that, I want to go to a school that has an amazing choir so I can learn from there just like I've learned in high school from Miss Moody, of course. And so, that's basically it. And I tell everybody always asks me, well, what college are you going to? Wherever the money takes me.
Amen. That would be sort of an amen. Emmanuel, what about for you? You already mentioned you kind of wanted to do music.
Yeah, I would like to be a recording artist and performing artist in the future. And like Catia said, I would say Moody, she's instilled in all of her students that wherever the money is, that's where you're going. Whoever gives you the most money to come to their school and pay you to perform for them, that's where you're going. And I've noticed that it's like it gives us a boost of energy in a way, because it's like we're motivated to push more and to sing different selections that other choirs aren't singing, so that we will get recognized by other college adjudicators or college directors, so that we could add on to our talents, I would say. Just learn as much as we can.
Miss Pamela, talk to the parents. Is there money in choir in terms of scholarships?
There is absolutely money in choir that is available to your children.
Yes.
I am a product of scholarship opportunities where I was afforded to go to Jackson State University to receive my bachelor's and master's in music and education. And it's important that for those students who are in low-income areas, they have those opportunities to continue their education by using their gift of song. And, I stress that to all my students. I'm like, go through the process, do what you're supposed to do, and there is going to be a scholarship opportunity for you out there if that's what you so choose to do. And, sometimes I have students who are just like, I couldn't do it, Miss Moody, because it just wasn't the same. It wasn't you. And I said, you have to let go of me and cling to someone else so that you can continue to learn.
It's not that easy.
It's probably not. I know. I can see that. There's only one Miss Moody, I'm sure. Yeah, but still, you get that pathway. You go ahead and sort of take it, and then the next phase of life will be after that, sort of as well. Okay, if we want to listen to the Jim Hill Choir, how do we do that? If we want to see any streaming or get a chance to watch anything live, how do we do that?
Okay, well, you can definitely go and listen and watch some of our concerts on the College Hill Baptist Church YouTube page. They also have a Facebook page as well. They have been graciously hosting our spring and winter concerts there. You may, by chance, on social media, on Facebook or Instagram, see where someone has posted videos of us performing. I tell the kids, you never know who's sitting in the audience, and this is a time and era of social media. And so we never know who's recording, who's posting things. We just happened to, I think we were on TikTok at one point with over 1 million views on TikTok.
It was over 2-3 million.
2 or 3, okay, I stand to be corrected. And so we just never know who's watching, who's recording. We're just thankful for those people who recognize the talents of these students and wanted to share.
Well, we're watching and we're not recording. Well, technically, I guess we are. You can always catch it back on YouTube. But we wish you all the best. I'll be keeping up with it. And both of you, Catia and Emmanuel, when y'all get your record deals, remember good things, okay?
Yes,
so come back and let us be able to share your good news. But best of luck to you guys. And you guys stick with us. We got a few more good things for you coming up.